treatment also carried out in the insulation tunnels, and you have different microwaves which basically emit that microwaves, and during that, of course, water molecule in the bean will vibrate, and therefore resultant heat will deactivate that compression factor. In this case, the temperature can go all the way to 150 degrees C for the short time interval, about 60 seconds. And in this case, you also, have there's microwave cooking take place. This is the short cooking time, can produce high quality full fat soybeans, but it's a high capital cost. You have to pay a lot of money to use a microwave, and also you have to have insulation tunnel. And again, raw soybeans needed to be in the range of 25-30% of their moisture content first soak it, so in order to properly microwave, do it, cooking done with that. Then we have other method called micronization. In this case, this is you soak the beans for 24 to 40 hours before, so the moisture can be around 18 to 19%. Then soybeans are placed in the oven for 140 degrees, and then of course transferred via conveyors into that radiant energy, which is basically electromagnetic radiations. And there is a lot of different frequency of this radiation comes in, and they will make these molecules to vibrate and hot, and then of course you will see that popping will take place. And in this case, you see that in this pictures here in the slides, they are electromagnetic radiation going through their frequency, and they are popping the beans, and this way you will cook the beans there. It's usually used in Russia and some other countries, and this is the system you will see here, steam generated inside some of the rupture in the cell, and of course it will take steeping as well to be needed, and then you do the complete cooking. Then after that you will roll it, flake it, and then you can enhance the degree of cook. Therefore, these are some of the different methods people are using it. Then we also have jet squiding. Is a variation basically of the roasting method. In this case, you can have it very hot air comes in for 60 seconds. Soybean will exit the temperature around 150 degrees C with the vapor pressure created. And normally this product also steeped for 2-3 hours prior to passing through a rolled mill, which beans will be kept, will rupture there in that case as well. And this is jet squiding. You can see how it works. This tendency for the overcooking finished product may be suitable for ruminant, not really for the poultry or monogastric animals. In this case, we don't dry the product actually after you make that cooking method. Then the most common method you see it mostly in South America as well as some other part of the world is the roasting of the soybeans. This process involves cooking of the beans. There you have a temperature around 110 to 170 degrees C. Temperature will depend upon the equipment, and soybean loses around 30% of their initial moisture. There are different methods of roasting, the different kind of roaster which is available in the market. People are using it. It is the easiest method to carry out cooking of the soybeans. There are a lot of other variation of the roasting. I think you may have seen it on small scale where people use a salt bed roasting. There are heat ceramic roasters. There's a rotary drum dryers, crane dryers. Most of these methods will use a direct fire, and which give rise to the variation, the degree of cooking. And of course, very recently you have also seen it fluidized bed roasters, where basically you will introduce the hot air blowing under a lot of pressure in lower chamber, and then of course your product will be vibrating in this one here, and it will be suspended in the air, and then of course hot air will come and it will roast the beans. These are new variations, new method came with the roasting that we can use that to process the beans. Some of the issues are that sometimes you have inconsistent roasting. Some of them get overcooked and some of them get undercooked. and also you do not rupture that cell in this case inside the whole beans are not ruptured, and therefore once again it's very good for the ruminant but not really for the monogastric animals like poultry. We can use that efficiently. And this is just show you a typical roasters that you will see it in the market that with the soybeans, and of course I have seen a lot of facilities where they are roasting the beans. They are very, very big roasters there, and you roast the beans for a certain amount of times, and then of course, and this one here is also showing a fluidized bed where you can do that one. Therefore, there's different variation of the roasters that can be used. Less energy intensive than the extrusion process. It consists of preconditioning sometimes. It's a hollow tube in it, and you inject the steam. Therefore, the hydraulic system cones, which regulate the pressure level, and this expander shaft inside the tube powered by a motor, and that basically, if you see that in this case, we pre-grind the soybeans, and then after grinding it, you add it into this kind of expander, and in this case, it will go from there, and then you introduce the steam, and then of course there's some residence time, and therefore you will see it's been cooked, and that's where you will see the cooking will take place in that case as well. And in this case, you need to precondition the bean to 2 to 3 minutes at 80 to 90 degree, and then after that, steam and friction will causes the temperature to rise. In this case, you can see that one here preconditioner there in order to make it very uniform product. Very common methods, large scale, people are using it, expanders, and it is in Eastern Europe and also South America. It's very, very common, which is available in the market. Sometimes we use for full fat soy, mostly we use for the oil seed preparations that go ahead of solvent extraction. In this case, of course, we add the water and the steam, and expansion and pressure is used. And of course, expanded product is then dried and cooled, but there's limited data on the quality of the full fat soy. That we are processing the full fat soy there with that, and this is what is used commonly. And extrusion process, which I will be focusing on my second talk in details, and how that works. And in this process, we use the whole soybeans. Sometimes it is good to be pre-grind the beans because extruders are not grinders. You will have more wear and tear in that case, and you allow them just to pass through the die at the end of the barrel. And basically, we use it, we call it HTSD process, which is high temperature short time. And in this case, they are processed through that heat, pressure, and shear. And we use all three things in order to cook the beans. The friction, the shear, and the pressure in the extruder will rupture the oil cells inside. Cell wall will be ruptured, and so that oil is available to the bird easily. And it's coming up from that dies, and then it goes to extrude. Hopefully in the next presentation also I show you some of the small videos I talk about in my introductory presentation. There are different methods we use it. Any process can process full fat soybean for optimal nutrition value if it's properly and precisely controlled. Processing variables are temperature and the time and the moisture. These three things are very important in order to get rid of Crips inhibitors. What's the temperature, what's the time, and what's the moisture of the beans. Therefore, if you understand any of the process and you understand these factors, you can use it. There are some additional variables as well. Basically, the particle size, also the amount of the physical damage of the beans, that may be complicate the issue. But other than the time, you will be able to process beans very easily. You can pick any of the methods and then you can use it. So, different techniques are that you need to see what is on my resultant, what is my anti-nutritional factors there. Therefore, basically, it is this one here that we common soybeans and soybean meal product and nutritional factors. These are the limits there that we want to reduce that to minimum. And the best way is to make sure that you do biological studies with the animals. And then of course you can see that which one gives you more digestibility, metabolizable energy, oil and other nutrient variability. And in order to understand different methods, you can see this one here as just a comparison, autoclaving, roasting, toasting, micronizing, extrusion, which is of course the high shear, we'll be focusing on it later on, medium shear, a low shear, and expander. You can see how long it takes time-wise, and you can see extruders are only 15 to 20 seconds. You can see the temperature ranges. In the extruders, we go to 135 to 140. In the medium shear, high shear, we go 150 to 160. A lot of pressure inside, and the moisture content, all that. Therefore, you can see how that works. And then, of course, based upon that, there's a lot of scientific paper being published. One of the papers which was published a long time ago, Dr. Weissman, and he also do that, some of that much better metabolizable energy as compared to some other methods. Some other methods are very good for that lab, or for that just to do some study, that most of them use it. And then this table also gives you some of that, again, processing parameters, and also total trypsin inhibitor raw soybean. And once you process that, you will find it after that. You can see the soybean trypsin inhibitors untreated as we may have 100. And then of course after we give to a solvent extraction, you can see that one.